On the road again. This time we headed Marietta to a dog salon. Whatever his problem is, I guarantee you, it's hair related.
Coach Colin here. Candace Owens, man. Turning Point Insider goes groveling secretly, privately to Candace Owens. Says, oh, please forgive me. Privately. Does the talking smack in public make sure to go on one of the biggest podcasts to talk smack about her publicly? And then, after everything's died down, where all the Turning Point inner circle can't see him, he sends a message, he sends an email real discreetly saying, hey, and Candace, you're going to see Candace's reaction after I give you a little refresher on this person. Eric Bowling is on the podcast, Patrick Bet-David's podcast, twice to talk smack about Candace. I'm going to show you the first appearance, then I'm going to show you the second appearance, then I'm going to show you what Candace had to say about the whole thing, and then I'm going to show you the little victory lap that she took while she was on X. Let's get to it, and fair warning, you were about to see Adam from the Patrick Bet-David podcast. I know a lot of people get upset. I warned you. I gave you fair warning. Here he is. Don't worry. It won't be that long. Just a couple, literally 2 minutes. Don't worry. Relax. Believe me, I know. But let's play this and then let's play the next clip.
No.
And throw out a bomb.
No, because, like, for instance, the 150 million, I want to see. Show me.
But the point is, there's none.
Well, that's why I have a hard time. That's why I have a hard time.
At some point, her credibility, is going to go down the tubes because she needs to bring receipts. Bill Ackman brought receipts. How long was that tweet?
It's still going. I think
he was there
Ron's
in the room. Andrew Colbert was there in the room.
How long was that tweet? That's Adam's idea of proof. Candace brings actual receipts. Adam's like, how long was that tweet? Oh man, I love it. I love Adam, man.
On the board of Turning Point?
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you saw Candace Owens?
In person?
Yeah.
2015, 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, when's the last time she was at a Turning Point event?
Not in many years.
Okay.
Well,
so let's
without
even being biased. There's
no question proof that Candace Owens has nothing to do. She would be in a perfect world if they didn't have this. What I already know was a very quiet breakup where she got too rabbit hole for him. She would be the logical heir to the TPUSA throne, but she's not.
And now she's not even invited.
Correct. So this is so their divide is.
Wait a minute, not invited meaning
she's not even there.
Yeah, she's not there. One of the names.
You don't think she'll be at the funeral?
No.
That's not the funeral.
The heir to the TPUSA throne.
She doesn't speak at the events anymore.
Erica.
That's a reason for that.
Kirk.
What is Erica Kirk's relationship with Candace at this point? Is there a relationship?
I don't think so.
Why do you not think so?
Because I've lived in this world.
Okay.
I live in
this world. Tell us.
I don't see them together. I think Candace has created a lane for herself. Yeah. It's her own lane. She wants to go after Macron's husband or wife or whatever you want to call him. She wants. I agree that I think it's cheap that she is sparking this up like she knows something between something happened between Ackman and Charlie. For what reason?
Here's what reason. To me,
money.
To me, I think
now. I already covered this whole thing, but I will just give you a breakdown of everything he said. He said she hasn't been around since 2015, Maury Povich style. You said that Candace has not been around Charlie Kirk since 2015. That was a lie. Turns out the lie detector says she was at a Turning Point event in 2024 and 2023. That was a lie. Okay? Pretty much everything he said was just made up. The relationship between Candace and Erica, they actually followed each other. And I would think when people follow me and they're a creator, we end up talking. That's just how it works. Okay, so if you lose your husband and someone has lost their really good friend and you follow each other, there's probably a message or two. So to say that the relationship is nothing, not true. The quiet divorce part that Eric brought up, also not true. We already saw Candace produce receipts on this over and over and over again. And again, I have to apologize for Adam being on the screen. I know how much that hurts for a lot of you. We're going to play the next one. Adam is not in this clip, okay? So please don't worry, it's going to be just fine. And I do apologize again for Adam being on the screen. All right, guys, there's 3 things I need you to do. Like, subscribe, and go check out the Patreon. That's it. Get back to the episode.
Spoke last time when we were on the podcast. We talked about Candace Owens, if you remember, when the Candace Owens conversation came about. And then I called you and I said, hey, Eric, people are asking questions about 2 items. One, the comment you made about being on the board, and the other one was a comment made about that Candace hadn't spoken at Turning Point USA for 2 years. I think you said that. And then the audience sent a message, which was June of 2024, 18 months or 14 months prior to you speaking. I know you responded to it on your channel, but people want to see on you responding here as well. What do you have to say to the audience?
So it remains. 2019, I was going from a show I was hosting in D.C. to a restaurant just outside the D.C. area. I get a phone call. It's Charlie Kirk. He said, Eric, I'd love to have you on the board of Turning Point USA. It just, it wasn't maybe a year or two of its real gusto at the time. I said, Charlie, I love your vision. I'd love to do that. I've spoken, and I was an advisory board member from 2019 to 2024 ballpark, early 24. And then I moved over to the honorary board. I'm still on their honorary board. So anyone who says like, oh, he's not on the board. No, I'm not on the actual day-to-day business of the board, but I'm an honorary board member after spending 5 years as an advisory board member. Clear that up, walk past.
So he wasn't actually on the board. There is no honorary board. And if there is, he's not on it. And he was never on the board as well. Just things that he's just saying. Also, if you go onto the Turning Point website, I believe Candace Owens is actually still there on the website. So she was on the website. She was listed as somebody of authority within Turning Point. Eric was never listed as someone of authority at Turning Point.
As far as the comment on Candace, Pat, I think I said I hadn't seen her, or she hadn't been a speaker at TPUSA for a couple of years, and I guess I was mistaken.
No, you said 2015. You said 2015, couple years. It's kind of a couple years. It's a couple of years,
Because it was 18 months, and I had forgotten about the 2024 event, as I think she was pregnant. Anyway, Candace Owens' Army let me know it. They were very upset, and this was all stemming from kind of a back and forth I had with Adam about. She was blaming
Philadelphia
for Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Now here's the thing. He's saying Candace Owens' army. It's not the army. It was just people. It's just people who were like, oh, like it wasn't all Candace fans. Just people. You say something that's not true, people just come out of the woodwork and they go, oh, okay, that's not true. I just went to the website. I saw this. I just saw this video with her there. It's not just Candace. So it's also people who are fans of Turning Point. People who watch Turning Point videos, they all remember. They said, oh, wow, Candace is there. And now you're saying she wasn't there. It's just people. Always trying to brand it as like, they attacked me because of her. I mean, it's not really because I wasn't telling the truth. It was just because, you know how they are. You know how nutty those people are, right?
Assassination. I just didn't think that was a fair assessment. And then turns out the next day she said it was the U.S. government who assassinated Charlie Kirk. I have no axe to grind with Candace Owens or her fan base. That's fine. I'm just living in the real world a little bit more reality based.
They not.
I believe there are forces behind Charlie Kirk's assassination, but I don't think it's just
Philadelphia.
real. I'm pretty sure it's not, and I'm pretty sure it's not the U.S. government.
Who do you think it is? I mean,
Pretty sure it's not. Okay, sure. Why not?
So,
we'll just leave it at that. That was Eric trying to go through, mumbling, stumbling. Is there a little bit? Oh, yeah, there's this last points. And then we're going to jump over to Candace's reaction to Eric actually apologizing. But they go from Candace is crazy. She's never been around. She doesn't know Charlie. She's not friends with Charlie. She doesn't talk to Erica. To all of a sudden, backtracking like you just saw in the last clip. And then in this clip, they're right along with Candace.
Listen, where do we go from here? Yes, I would agree with everything
Do you want to know who killed Charlie? Would you like to know who killed Charlie?
I would like to get confirmation of who I believe killed Charlie. I did like Patrick. We were sitting here.
Who you believe?
Less than a week after Charlie was assassinated, and that text message between the alleged assassin and his boyfriend or his lover spelled out exactly the detail of why he did it, where he did it, how long he's been planning it.
That was the
they gave him
bullshit text
right,
messages I've ever
because
read in my life.
it just laid it out to slam the door on this guy for a murder conviction, firing squad, so that the bigger brains and money behind the operation would never be discovered. I believe that to the bottom of my heart. And I'm not generally a conspiracy guy. I just the old guy that goes down and says I shot him immediately. Like who has the wherewithal to do that? And then the clown up front jumping around, making himself. There was just too many things that fell into place for it to be.
Yeah, the only guy that
shooter.
doesn't jump under a table when gunshots happen.
Yeah,
is an old man.
Well,
Guy doesn't even believe it's one shooter anymore. What happened? What happened? Why are you talking about? This was a month ago. He said this. 2 months ago. So from this appearance when he was on the first time to the second appearance, he's now a fan of Candace because he's saying the exact same thing that Candace is saying, that we're all saying, that it's just too much, it doesn't make any sense. So why talk smack about her to begin with? You know why? Because it's not about what Tyler did or didn't do. It's about who Candace is actually pointing at and allowing all of us to start thinking and start looking at. That's the reason he was there, to talk smack. And it's very telling because he was clearly sent by Turning Point. He didn't jump on. When do you ever see this guy on Patrick Bet-David's podcast?
Never.
He was sent there by Turning Point to put out that type of narrative. And then in regular, as we know now, in regular Turning Point fashion, when something gets backlash, when something backfires, they just show up and they go, they give this weird explanation. It doesn't really make any sense. They don't really apologize. They don't really take anything back, but they try to walk back and change their opinion while their previous opinion still exists. There's no apology whatsoever. And it just makes them look worse than they did before. That's all this ended up doing. So let's move on. Candace Owens breathing fire upon this man. I don't think we're going to see this guy on the Patrick Bet-David podcast again. And I damn sure don't think we're going to see him on X making an apology, especially after Candace said this.
Unravel wrote, how did Andrew Colvett know that it was supposed to be Candace if the killer is Tyler Robinson? That was actually something that I had never considered. I told you guys that Andrew Colvett called me from the hospital and basically said you and Tucker should shut up because you guys are on a list. What list? Nobody mentioned that Tyler Robinson had a list. And certainly, if he's killing over the topic of transgenderism, I don't think me and Tucker would be high on it. So yeah, what are we speaking about? If this was a lone shooter and just a random incident because he was defending his lover, how is there a list? What was that list that was happening behind the scenes? It's almost like Tucker and I were being threatened from the United States military. And I should really say the global state military, because I do believe that we are run by the military and that the idea of democracy is an utter delusion. Now, okay, great. We have the email, just to fact check this because it's funny, and we should now call him Alex for the rest of our lives. Eric wrote, hey man, this was an email, by the way, to my PR. Tell Candace I meant no harm to her. It was that Alex guy who kept at it. He tried to corner me and he found out. If she wants to talk, I'll call her. If not, no worries. I've lost too many people in my life to get too emotional about these things. I've always respected CO. That moment got blown out of proportion. Anyway, I remain. And my message back was, keep that same energy. You went onto a podcast, you lied about my relationship with Charlie right after he died, when I was still reeling from so many emotions. I was then being attacked and lied about a very real relationship that I had in my life. And you're just going to privately email this little sucker apology. Keep the same energy. Do it publicly. Say I lied or I misspoke, whichever it is. He's not done that. He's not moved to do that. I don't believe he did. At least it wasn't sent to us. And he calls and he throws that guy Alex or whatever who wouldn't stop talking. So that's him. He's just Alex who won't stop talking on the PBD podcast because his only mission in life is to defend Zionism, to defend Zionists and to attack people who don't like what Israel is doing, which is virtually everybody at this point. So anyway.
So if you couldn't figure it out from the picture she just showed, okay, and again, of course, another apology. He's calling this guy Alex. That's how you know exactly what I just said. I'm like, oh, he was sent by Turning Point. Of course. He doesn't know Patrick that well. He doesn't know Adam. He doesn't know Vinny. They sent him there to put out that whole spiel, that whole narrative. And of course, he doesn't even know Adam's name. Just some guy, Alex. Because he was there to just spew a narrative. The same way you would see a politician on a show. I'm sorry for keeping Adam up there so long. I apologize again. The same way you would see a politician do that type of thing, where they would just go to a show and they'd be like, "Oh, hi, what's your name? Rachel Madhow? Oh, hi, Miss Madhow. How you doing?" It's because they don't know him at all. That's exactly what he was doing there. And I love that she said that. Keep that same energy. What are you doing? To say I've always had respect for Candace. But then on the other hand, when you're on a podcast, talk about, he actually said the word, she's nothing. He actually said those words, she's nothing. And then he kind of like said, okay, she has nothing to do with Turning Point. Haven't seen her since 2015. Quiet divorce with Charlie. These are not things you say about someone you respect. Not at all. Not even remotely do you say things like this about someone you respect. You say, oh man, that person's actually great. Yeah, incredible talent. That's what you say. You don't go and talk with Adam and talk all this backhanded nonsense about a person that you respect. But he's walking it back now. And he's doing it secretly. And you know why Candace said do it publicly? He's never going to do it publicly, because you know what happens if he does it publicly? That means he would have to go on to X and actually say, hey, just so you know, Candace, just want to tell you, imagine how this goes over. This guy's a part of Turning Point. Imagine how this goes over. He's a part of Turning Point. He's a part of that crowd, Philadelphia and whatnot. Imagine, he says, just wanted to put it out there for everybody to see. I really respect Candace. I take back everything I said on the Patrick Bet David podcast. I think the world of her. I know she had a great relationship with Charlie. Do you know what, buddy? Are you kidding me? He gets a plot next to Charlie if that happens. What? Just a day later, easy. He's gone. That's it. He's done. And then you have a bunch of people just attack him on X. Oh, it would be crazy. The text messages he would get, he'd get fired. Oh, it'd be crazy. Ben Shapiro would be on him. Are you kidding me? Ben Shapiro would be like, listen, I actually want to have a word with you. I want to have a word with you. Matt, get off of me. Get off of me, Matt. I want to talk to you right now, buddy. Oh, it'd be a big problem. Are you kidding me? So he's never going to do that. Never going to do that. Ah, man. But I love it. I love it. And she did take a little bit of a victory lap because somebody actually reposted it. This gentleman here reposted it saying that, Candace, everything we just saw, the email, blah, blah, blah. He apologized. Candace actually comments at the bottom that Alex guy is annoying. Oh, man. Adam's been catching it all day. He said a bunch of stuff about Candace that I showed you guys the other day. Candace went in on him. Everybody's going in on him. And he's just writing in all caps. Let's all be friends. Why can't we be friends? It's the weirdest thing. Just why hasn't Patrick got rid of that guy? Patrick Bet David has access, for sure has access to a lot of talent. You can't think of one other person, one other age demographic that you can replace Adam with. It would just be the best. But you know what? He can't do that. You know why? I'm not going to say why. I have a theory why. I'm not going to say handler or anything. But he's like, I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. It has to do with Philadelphia, but I'm not going to say it. He kind of has to be there, he's there. He watches over things to make sure that things aren't going too overboard. And when Candace needs to be talked about negatively, he's there. He's like, okay, don't worry. I got the marching orders here. I'm just saying that's what he seems like. because you know, I'm not even gonna go further than that. Not even gonna go further than that. But I just wanted to bring that to you guys. I find that so ridiculous, and good for Candace that she actually gets to do that to somebody finally. To have somebody groveling back there secretly to her is good. That's exactly what she deserves. All of the close inner circle of Turning Point should all be apologizing to her. They should be apologizing for what they allowed to be said about her. They should be apologizing for being so silent and not either cooperating or even pushing back or anything. They should really have to apologize. And honestly, not even just to Candace. Candace would be a big person, but everybody who believed in them. Everybody who, like myself, wanted to see them rise up and do a great job replacing Charlie. And it's terrible. It's like you found out your substitute teacher is now your teacher. And you're just like, what? What do you mean? Where's Mr. Garrison? What are you talking about? You're here forever? No. Bring back Mr. Garrison. That's all we're hoping. But rest in peace. The fine gentleman Charlie Kirk won't be coming back, but we move on. I do have some ideas of who should actually take that place of Charlie on the Charlie Kirk show. Not take the place of Charlie, but it shouldn't be the Turning Point spokesman that's running the podcast now with, you know, nondescript guy Blake. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be that. There's some young people right now who are really pushing the envelope on things. This one guy, his name's Cam. I think, I won't go into it, but I think that guy Cam, I think he should be in Charlie Kirk's, not in his seat, but on that show. If they're gonna run that show still, that's what I think should happen, honestly. But anyways, guys,
with a simple comment, and that post went absolutely viral, at least for me. I'm not very popular on X.
And let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time.
Why do you do it?
Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair?
What is she talking about?
Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't.
My response to this absolutely unhinged rant by Michelle: dear black people, you don't have to straighten your hair for us. It's okay to leave it curly. We don't care. Now, I post a lot on X, and I always find it interesting which of my posts hit and which don't. I had no idea that this one was going to blow up like it did, but apparently there is a message that really resonates with white people, a message that we want to send to racist black Americans like Michelle Obama. We don't care. White Americans are absolutely done being told that we are the reason for all the problems that black people face in the world. You're late for work? Well, then punctuality is a white supremacist construct. Your straightened hair is inconvenient? Well, that's because white people are forcing black women to straighten their hair. I even remember a clip where one lady said that black women are fat because diets only work for white people, because enduring all this racism in America is just so stressful that the diets don't work for black women.
Like, I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create. We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. The research says that black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower. even when we're following the diet, than our white women counterparts. Our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Ain't nothing like a hamburger can fix that.
I first realized that I truly hate Michelle Obama after a speech that she gave to Jackson State University on April 23rd, 2016. This is a historically black college in Mississippi.
The shadows of the past have not completely disappeared. Maybe it's when you're driving somewhere and you stop for no particular reason. Maybe it's when the folks seem to keep an extra close eye on you as you shop. Maybe it's when you walk down the sidewalk and folks cross the street when they see you coming.
That really pissed me off. Now, a lot of people talk about how Barack Obama revived racial divisions in America. This is a prime example of what they're talking about. Throughout the years, I have heard this claim that white people walk to the other side of the street whenever they see a black person coming. No, we do not walk across the street when we see black people coming, Michelle. We walk across the street when we see black thugs coming. We do the same thing when we see white thugs or Mexican thugs or crazy homeless people. It's called rational discernment. If a white guy who looks dangerous is walking toward a white girl alone on the street, she's probably going to cross the street because that is the rational thing to do. If a black man in a bespoke suit walking toward a white girl walking alone on Fifth Avenue in New York, if a black man in a bespoke suit is walking toward a white girl who's walking alone on Fifth Avenue in New York, she is of course not going to cross the street because he's probably not dangerous. And that's the problem. Because of all the races in America, and that is the problem. Because of all the races in America, which race embraces the thug look? Black Americans, of course. You know this. This is a choice. Because what is the thug look? The thug look is a look that expresses a very specific message. I'm dangerous. That's it. That's the message. Don't mess with me or I'm going to hurt you. It's a way of exerting power over others. It says, get out of my way. And so you got these black guys wearing these clothes that say, get out of my way. And then when white people receive this message and comply with this demand, Michelle Obama, she goes out there and she says, why are you walking away from us? That's racist. There is a comedian, Christina Mariani, who did a brilliant comedy bit about this very thing.
I learned that racism is passed down generationally, so it's internalized, which makes sense. I was walking home, it was late at night, and this black guy walks towards me. And instinctively, I grab my purse, even though logically, I know he's not for sale. He did steal my wallet though.
Okay, it's not super relevant. I just thought it was really funny. Look, if you don't want people to avoid you, don't dress like you're going to murder everybody. But actually, this kind of thing isn't actually why everybody has grown to hate Michelle Obama. The divisive racist rhetoric is bad, but it gets far worse. I'll get to the really outrageous stuff in one moment. First, of course, I have to sell you something. A lot of people drink way too much.
Growing up to do. And there's still, sadly, a lot of men who do not feel like they can be led by a woman, and we saw it.
What a nasty, condescending, degenerate ingrate. She pretends that America isn't mature and that she is. We're not as evolved as she is. But as Greg Gutfeld pointed out the other day, we have literally legalized gay marriage in America. We certainly have progressed far beyond being willing to elect a female president, for better or for worse. It's not the gender that's the problem here. It's the caliber of the talent. But it's a great excuse to say that America isn't ready for a woman president, because She knows she would never win. She's a low IQ, resentful racist with zero personal accomplishments in spite of being given far more opportunities than 99.9% of America. Now, I decided to save the best clip for last because this one is just insane.
Every day, every time I was up, as we called it, I was up for the public.
Yes.
And the days were long. So as you mentioned, to save time.
Yes.
I know having a glam team, a trifecta, it feels like a luxury, but it was a time necessity.
Yes.
There's absolutely no way that I would be able to do my hair and makeup and have clothes ready that fit, because rare is the woman that can live off the rack.
Yes.
Michelle Obama, a woman with no real talent or intellect or great beauty, has fallen backwards into one of the most luxurious, prestigious lives imaginable. She has had servants running around day and night, catering to her every need. And Michelle still complains about it. This is why so many people, when describing Michelle Obama, use the word insufferable. Laverne Spicer posted a reaction to Michelle Obama's recent narcissistic comments. She wrote, "Dear Michelle Obama, let me school your miserable mother effing ass since you can't seem to remember how blessed you are. You are married to the first black president in American history. You are the first black first lady in American history. Because of that, you and Barack left the White House richer than when y'all slithered into it. Because of that, your black ass got $1 million book deal, a $60 million Netflix deal, and because of that, y'all own mansions. Because of that, y'all own beachfront property. Because of that, y'all's kids and grandkids are set for life. Because of all of that, your family's net worth is over $100 million. And yet you've got the mother effing nerve to still get on stage, whining like you're picking cotton in 1855 instead of sipping champagne in Martha's Vineyard. No black American woman will ever be as privileged as you are, bitch. So sit your ungrateful, race-hustling ass down and thank the country that you've spent 8 years crapping on. America gave you everything. The least you could do is shut the F up and smile, ho. Tell us what you really think, Laverne. Anyway, I thought that response was just beautiful. Very well said. But I actually think there was an even more eloquent and brilliant response, and that honor goes to Victor Davis Hanson.
Michelle Obama, of course, is on her whining tour, I guess we could say that. And she said that while she was in the White House, she was under a particularly white hot glare.
Michelle, who was on the cover of Vogue repeatedly and who wasn't as First Lady? You were on the cover, and Melania never was. Melania was a professional international model. I know Barack Obama said yesterday you were fine, but I think most people would say that Melania is as pretty or prettier than you are and more elegantly dressed, as not reflection on you, just that's what models are. But she wasn't on once. And let me ask you another question. Who was treated more unfairly, Donald Trump and Melania Trump, by the media? I'm talking now, NPR, PBS, NBC, CBS, ABC, New York Times, Washington Post. I could go on, or you. When Donald Trump made the cover of a magazine like the New Republic, he had a Hitler mustache. When you, Barack on him, he was dressed like FDR and said, the new socialism is back. Everybody bent over backwards to accommodate you. Your memoir was a best-selling book. You were treated with kid gloves. So when you said you'd never been proud of the country, you said it was a downright mean country. You said they always raised the bar on people like us. You were given a pass. You were given a pass, and your whole life was. You came out of Harvard Law School. You were in a Chicago law firm. You wanted a sneaker account right away. And then when he was elected senator, they gave you a non-job for what, $325,000, basically at the University of Chicago Medical School to direct people away from the medical school who couldn't pay. You were always given either equitable treatment or exemplary treatment. If you want to go Google and say, make fun of First Lady, see how many things come up under Melania versus you. And it will be much more. Nobody put a gun to your head and said, you have to run for president. You used that bully pulpit to push all of your issues. As far as altering the White House, you made a special little kind of nice organic garden. You did whatever you wanted. And now you're worth probably over $100 million. And no offense, but I don't think that you and Barack had any reputation, history, CV, resume of being particularly accomplished Netflix content thinkers, creators. That's what they gave you, what, $20 million? So you walked out of the White House. Remember Barack had said, I'm going to run the president. I'm going to do it to transform the country. I'm not going to do it just to cash in. That's what you did. So can't you just say, this is an amazing country that a black man and woman were elected president with a greater white vote than the previous white candidate. But that didn't happen. Almost immediately when you came in, you gave the typical Michelle chip on your shoulder. Well, I was in a Target and a shorter woman wanted me to reach and didn't know who I was, so I had to reach for a package to give to her. It happens to all of us, Michelle. Happens to all of us all the time. Life is so hard on you because you have a beach estate in Hawaii that you built, contrary to many environmental regulations. You have a boat on Martha's Vineyard on the seashore, cliff. I think it's 20 acres. And then you've got your Calorama mansion. You still have your Chicago nice thing and your Tony Rezko acquired big yard. And yet that's not enough. All you do, we had to pay for food. We had to pay for food when we were in the White House. I really doubt that they sent you a bill for a ham sandwich. No offense. But it's all complaint. Barack said the other day, he's trying to whip up the racial sentiment. He said, and they just confused. They just see a black guy and they say you got the job with DEI. Well, get rid of DEI and you won't think that. And in your case, Barack, you came with a mediocre record after 2 years from what we can ascertain from anecdotal evidence, since you wouldn't release your student records. And you went to Columbia, and then you didn't release your Columbian grades, and then somebody got you into the Harvard Law School. Would you please release your Harvard Law School admissions LSAT and GPA from Columbia, and then we will know whether you got in on DEI or not. Because you didn't really cut a wide swath as an impressive law student when you graduated. And from what people tell us in anecdotal information, when you were given a year with no teaching abilities and a fellowship to write a book on what, contractual or constitutional law, you wrote about yourself. If you did write about yourself, there was accusations that Bill Ayers wrote it, and there were certain things in his memoir that anecdotes that were strikingly similar to yours. But let's not judge you. And it was a bestseller, and you were on your way to the races. So both of you have nothing to complain about.